out of some of the countries they're operating in, and ultimately use that to either, convert into currency in other markets or to supplement Russia's own gold supply. And in doing so, actually blunt some of the impacts of the various Western sanctions that Russia has been subject to since the invasion of Ukraine.
Now, it's interesting that you say supplement Russia's gold supply and various things like that. So they are, in a sense, paying into the Russian government, but they're not an arm of government. Are they operating in some strange third, non-commercial, non-state area?
Yes. So essentially, because of the structure where they're not technically legal in Russia and they are being permitted to operate in close coordination with the Russian military or with Russian intelligence services, particularly in a place like Ukraine where we see them actively coordinating with the Russian military to achieve military aims, they're not only being condoned by the Kremlin, but actually closely coordinated in partnership between someone like Prigozhin and Putin himself. And so they really are, rather than being an independent entity looking out for its own bottom line, they really are carrying out the goals and the objectives of the Russian state, even though technically on paper they cannot be considered part of the Russian government.
Katrina Doxey there of the CSIS in Washington. Stephanie, I mean, it's a very odd thing. It's almost part of the new politics, these operators that aren't state operators, but they aren't commercial operators. We don't quite know what they are, but they're certainly causing some trouble.
And the thing is one wonders how new this really is. I couldn't help listening to that interview, wishing that John le Carré, the British spy writer, was still alive, because this is straight out of his book, The Night Manager, with the arms dealer Dickie Roper, the world's worst man, right, where he's running effectively his own shadow state entity that does exactly what the Wagner Group is doing. And that book was set in Central America, and for people who know the history of Central America, they will